now got sort of, the B Corp certification, you've got everything that you do with the foundation, like a really strong set of personal ethos that sort of underpin what you're doing. Do you find that, people approach you as a business due to this?
Yes, they do. I mean, I don't want to present it as this big new business opportunity. It isn't. We did B Corp for ourselves. We have had clients approach us because of B Corp status. Absolutely, they tend to be people who are very motivated to be. They would say they're coming at it from a particular point of view. So they're either ethical investors, or they've got a particular ethical specialism that they're looking for, or they're social impact investors. And they will tend to, that'll be their first screen of advice companies. Because there are quite a few really good advice companies now who are B Corps. Mm-hmm. So you've got quite a good range of options. So that type of client, which is quite niche, quite small, is applying that as an initial screen, and then, going to all of those firms within the B Corp certification to decide which one fits them. So yes, we have had clients come to us. I think it probably has more of an impact on recruitment than it does on on clients. Yeah, I think it doesn't necessarily drive new applicants to us, but we do tend to find, so we are part of the Reading University internship program. So we have interns come and join us every year. And we do have staff join us from time to time. And when you're interviewing several candidates, you will often see more energy from the ones that have gone and looked at the website, found something that really resonates with them from a culture or a charity point of view, and they'll bring that to the interview. And so very often, I mean, we will often recruit based on cultural fit rather than technical knowledge. Technical knowledge can be gained and trained. Cultural fit, you can't train that into someone. They've either got it or they haven't. And so one of the first questions we ask is, was there anything on our website that resonated with you? Some candidates will say no. Never a great start to an interview. Some will say, oh yeah, I was looking at the B Corp and actually it's to be looking to B Corp. So I'm really interested in that and talk about that. Some will say the charity, some will say, ethical investing, whatever it is. They'll pull something out which is of relevance. So I think it's probably had more of an impact there maybe than new business.
That's really interesting. So I was going to say that's a bit of a double-edged question, because I know I've asked you that before and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's brought in new clients specifically due to that, though we've had conversations about how people have come to you guys as a business because they resonate with some of the things that they've seen online. But that's really interesting from a recruitment perspective. I think just going back to that, any candidate that's going in there and says that they haven't seen anything that resonates with them on their website has not been dealing with a consultant at Recruit UK, because
that's part of the standard training, is it?
Make sure that they definitely did their research and found things that resonated with them. But I think that's really interesting, because especially if you're hiring from a perspective very often of cultural fit, and you feel like people that buy into your business, I guess you feel like projecting your ethos and being really strong about what you stand for and what you align with means that the individuals that you're getting in the business moving forward also align with that message, which generally means then as your business keeps on moving forward, as you said yourself, you're not going to be able to advise forever, but if you can get people that are bought into the business, while you're there, that buy into that message from what you're projecting out there, it means that, I guess, in the long term, you hope those values will be continued moving forward, even if you're not within the business at that moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We think that fit is crucial. We are we're very open and we're very clear and hopefully not preachy, but bordering on that on our website. We're very clear about the way we fundamentally believe things should be done. I hope we're not critical about alternatives, and we wouldn't ever be. There's many different ways of setting up a business, running a business, and advising. And we're not particularly negative about a different way of doing it. We just believe in the way that we do it. And I think that comes across through the website. I think it comes across through the blog, through LinkedIn. And so I would hate to think that any candidate would end up talking to us who didn't have a sense of who we were. And maybe that screened some people out. I don't know. People are motivated by different things.
Yeah, and if it ultimately, I think if you're projecting a message via your website or your media channels or whatever sort of you use as a business, if it doesn't resonate with people and it does screen people out, they're obviously not the right fit for you guys. So it almost does some of the hard work for you before someone set the foot in the door.